Hi and welcome back to video 6B, and we're going to continue with our Van Gogh landscape, our blossom tree. So I've got now my avocado green, any sort of soft lime green will do. I've put all my white on. I've sort of started to get the shape, so like I explained in the previous video, everything's receding back on this vanishing point. So we've got this hill that's in the forefront and all the lines are going that way, but everything else is sort of leading back. So we're just going to keep building up, really. We're making our own interpretation, aren't we? Because we are very limited with time. So I've got a much smaller brush now to add in the avocado green. And it's just about building up. So hopefully, this white hasn't totally dried, so I can start filling this and it will blend. Obviously, if we were working in oils, it takes, days, weeks to dry, doesn't it? So we can carry on. Sorry, that's my doggy again. My villainous dog. Isn't he, Lulu?
Yep.
Villainous dog. So I'm just... Oh, no. What's that now? Oh, it's because Daddy's got the door open. Sorry. Quiet.
Yeah, welcome.
So on Van Gogh's painting, he's got lots of other trees in the background, and he's got shadows on the trees. And all I've done so far is this dark shadow where it's coming into this little dip in the field. I've just done less white. That's all it is. So we're just going to continue filling in, as you can see. It's all right,
It's okay, Bo. Bo.
It's all right, take it.
Come.
So when we get into this dip here, we've got much less lime green. So we're not going to put that. We're only going to have the lime green above that dip, that undulation. It's all right there. It's all right there. Go sit. It's such a demanding dog. So another way of getting this paint on, if you finding it, too painstaking, would be to splatter the paint with a toothbrush, I guess. We're starting to get some of this texture now, and hopefully get an idea of the sunlight hitting. As he has brilliantly done.
Oops. Sorry.
It's okay. So if you overdo it with the green, I've completely overdone it there. Just add a bit more white, break it up, or add a bit of your blue. Don't worry. We want it to all be really thick paint. So I'm just going to carry on with my green now at the front. So the green just taking on a slightly different direction, like I said, just more upright. And we're just building up the layers of paint. That's the thing with acrylics. They just look so much better if there's a lot of layers. And I think that is one of the reasons why I like watercolour so much, is that you don't particularly do layers. It's just so fast. So, starting to build up there. So we're starting to get an idea of the undulation and the field disappearing back, aren't we? So now I've got a sap green colour, and I'm going to put the sap green colour in this undulation to the darker bit in this shadow. All right, darling. A bit coming out.
Oh.
You might have to go and put him in the sitting room, Lou,
Okay.
if that's all right. If I hold the phone.
Yeah.
Or is that Daddy back in?
I don't know.
Okay. Lee? Is it still, I just need to bring Beau out because he's barking, I'm doing my video.
Right.
Just got... Right. You see, these are all the dreadful things an artist has to put up with. All these interruptions. Family life. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to put a bit more of my green here. Just a bit clearer here, isn't it? People often say they like an artist because they usually say straight away it's because of the colours. Just love the colours, and that's exactly one of the reasons why I love Van Gogh so much. She uses all my favourite colours, the orange and the blue and the green. They just look amazing together. Love them. So a bit more of the... So we're not going to take that very strong green all the way back because we're trying to get this idea of perspective. So, and it's amazing, isn't it? Because we haven't done any drawing at all yet. So that's that, and I'm not really going to take that green any further back than there. So we're starting to get the form a little bit, aren't we? So the next colour is orange. I'm just going to neaten up this, sorry Lou, I'm just going to neaten this up a bit, you know, just this undulation, just add a bit more blue in there amongst with my green where this shadowing is. But you will fiddle and get it exactly right. I'll put the picture as I always do on WhatsApp and on Facebook so you'll be able to see it. She's got, you know, quite a strong idea of this landscape coming down here, so we can just start getting some of that in as well. You know, put it in. If you feel like you've got too much, add some white. All good to add as much paint as you like. The more paint the better, I really believe that with acrylics. I'm going to get a little bit more, whereas it's the opposite with their watercolours, isn't it? Better to be light as a feather with watercolour. So yeah, it's starting to come. So next we're going to just go in with our orange, and I'm just going to get a bright orange, just put some of these flecks in. So I'm going to do the front first. So I'm feeling that orange is just too bright. It's too orange, isn't it, Lou?
Yeah.
So let's just add. I'm just going to soften it off with a bit of yellow. If I had a bit of yellow, that would be useful. So they're both pumpkin.
Could just mix it with some white.
Yeah, I just feel it needs to be slightly more yellow. I think that's what it is. Oops. So I've got sort of a mustard yellow there. I'm just going to take my very bright orange. See what that's like. I think that's better. Do you?
Yeah.
It was just too harsh, wasn't it?
Mm.
Let's do that. Okay, so we've got that idea of that orange there. An orange. And it is just a tiny bit. I'm thinking I might could add this like this, but I could also, it would be really nice to do it with a toothbrush and splatter it. Just the tiniest bit of orange he's got showing through, hasn't he? Yeah. And then moving backwards, it's much more of a yellow orange. So I'm just going to get some more of this. It's actually called antique gold, this colour, but it's like a mustard. So I'm just mixing it with a little bit of the orange. I'm just going to take that back. And I think you're right, Lou, as I go back, I'm going to add a little bit more white to it, just to soften it, because it still feels too harsh. So just going to get a bit of white in there, that's better. Just leave the stronger colour in the foreground and just soften off that orange as we're going back. And it's absolutely everywhere. All down here. And all the way back. Okay. So I'm going to continue doing that. You've got the idea of what we're doing, just adding that little bit of orange. And what we'll do is we'll come back on video C and we will start and get our tree done. Okay, see you soon.